again, everybody. It's Kevin Knessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 10th day of December in the year 2024. Sure hope you're enjoying your Tuesdays, no matter where it is you are in the country. And as we join you live today, there is a lot to get to, some things that are developing as we speak. And I'm going to put this up on the screen. I think a lot of people have probably seen this if you were in the area of Applebee's in Kearney earlier today. Just, in fact, not too long ago, car and body were both recovered from the Passaic River. We have been reporting on this all weekend and into this week, and the folks who were down there working on this include the Kearney Police, Kearney Fire, North Arlington Fire, North Arlington Police, State Police Diving Unit. They did remove the car, and they did remove what appears to be a deceased body inside the car. Now, the person's identification has not yet been released, and that is pending the medical examiner's report, but we will bring you the person's name as soon as we are able to do that. I know there's been a lot of discussion out there on the internet and on social media about the identity of who this person is. It's more than likely that people have figured it out. However, we can't say that officially until we are told by the proper authorities. We have spoken with Kearney Police Chief Scott McPhee, and the mayor was down on the scene this morning, and it's important to make sure that everybody who is involved too is notified before the media or anybody else goes public with the person's identification. So once we know the person's name, we will certainly let you know, and we will certainly bring you any other details that come with it. But as of now, they do believe that they have found the person they were looking for in the car inside, with a body inside of it, in the Passaic River, in this general area that you can see right here on the screen right now. So once we know more, we will certainly let you know more about that. The Harrison Police Department, meanwhile, is conducting a DWI checkpoint in the coming days on the 14th and the 15th overnight on Frankie Rogers Boulevard South and Essex Street. So please check theobserver.com when you get a chance, and you can see all of the details that are involved in that. I was not always kind of unsure about announcing these things, but the police did bring this to our attention and did say they wanted it to be announced that there would be this DWI checkpoint. So hopefully people who are, if anybody's even thinking about driving drunk this weekend, will not consider doing that, but especially in that vicinity of Frankie Rogers Boulevard South and also Essex Street. That's the cross, but that is on the 14th into the early morning hours of the 15th. Get all the details when you get a chance if you just run up to www.theobserver.com. And this is the last thing that I wanted to let everybody know about, but I got to get the date up on the screen. For some reason, it's not up there on the screen, so just bear with me for a second. The mobile mammogram unit that Ava Lawdanski has been putting together has been postponed. You knew it was postponed last week when they were unable to have it on that Friday, but it's been postponed to the 23rd of December. I had a graphic. For some reason, it's not showing on the screen right now. That will take place from 9 until 3 in front of Kearney Town Hall, 9 until 3 on the 23rd of December in the year 2024. I spoke with Ava's mother, Lila, who tells me that it's very possible that because there was such a great response to the first one, that there will be 2 other dates added on, and those dates will be determined in the coming months. But I think Lila said that they were thinking about it being one in January and the other in March. So once we get all those details, we'll certainly share them with you. This is part of Ava Lawdanski's gold project for the Girl Scouts. She's working very, very hard on this. She did tie a pink ribbon earlier in October, and this is all part of that project. But the original date was postponed, and they have rescheduled it for the 23rd, December 23rd, from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. at Kearney Town Hall. Now, let me get to everybody who's here watching us today. Alexis Sheridan is here with us. Hi, Alexis. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Mama June Hearn is also here with us from down in South Jersey. It's good to see you, Mama June. My dear Aunt Annie is here with us from beautiful downtown Red Bank, New Jersey, or Middletown. It's good to see you, Aunt Annie. I love you very much. And of course, our own dear friend Melanie Ryan is also here with us as well. She makes it very clear. So sad indeed. So very, very sad indeed that this has happened. Carol Manley is also with us as well. Carol, good to see you. Probably with Mom down the shore. Pat Locasto is with us today, all the way from Las Vegas. Patrick, good morning. Good to see you as well. Ricardo Fernandez is also with us. Saw the divers pull a body to the boat ramp, and a car got removed from the river. That is exactly what it was. They just have not identified yet who it will be, who it is, although most people seem to think they know already. Let's see, Annie says, if they are drunk, they won't even know, but I believe don't tell where the checkpoint will be. I've kind of always felt that way, too. Like, when you tell people where the checkpoint is, it would, to me, have people avoiding the checkpoint areas, right? Like, but on the other hand, maybe people will just be more cognizant of it by not going out and doing silly things, driving in that regard. But who knows? I don't know what the best solution is, if there is a solution to this. And Melanie says maybe in conjunction with Women's Health Month in March. That is very possible for one of the two dates that Ava is looking for. But those dates will come at a later time, and as soon as we get them, you will be the first to know about it. Now, as if this wasn't a bad enough week, because most of you know that there were two tragic fires in our readership area. And good afternoon to Larry Hanlon, who is joining us as well. Two tragic fires in our readership area over the last couple of days. And boy, it just seems like it was never going to end. The first one was in Lyndhurst. That was Thursday, and one person died there. And then there is, of course, the tragic fire in Kearney that claimed the lives of Mary Beth Gunther and Martin Wilson on Hamilton Avenue. And just a horrible, horrible week, really, when you consider where we are in the calendar, just a couple of days away, 15 days away from Christmas. And all I keep hearing is so many wonderful things about Mary Beth and Marty. And they had a beautiful dog. I think the dog's name was Bella, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what Dylan Sullivan told me. Dylan is, of course, and his family, his mom and dad were very close with the Gunters. And so many people have been just completely moved and taken aback by this terrible tragedy that took place on Hamilton Avenue. This is, for those of you who are literate in Kearney history, the house right next door to former Mayor Leo Vartan's house on Hamilton. And Leo and his wife Debbie were home at the time of the fire. I'm pretty sure they had to get out of their house while this was happening. And the conditions in this fire were just so bad. They really were just terrible. And the firefighters did everything they could to save the lives of the two people who died ultimately. In fact, one of the person who died, what was I going to say? I'm going to get back to that in a minute, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't know for sure. Melanie said something about smoke detectors. And what I know for certain is that in the fire in Lyndhurst, there were not smoke detectors. And that fire claimed one life. And Chief Paul Haggerty, who I was going back and forth with in texts, was saying that this one in Lyndhurst could have been significantly worse were it not for the fact that people, a couple people jumped in the fire in Lyndhurst. and one person had to be rescued from the roof of the house. But people, these things are not expensive. These fire detectors are not expensive. It is so vital to have them. And when you consider how quickly these two fires went up, I mean, maybe that's the difference between surviving and not surviving. You just don't know. But please, if you live, no matter where you live, make sure you have them. The smoke detectors and the carbon monoxide detectors, because maybe, who knows? I really don't know the answer to the one in Kearney, whether or not the fire there, whether there were any smoke alarms present. I can tell you that watching the video that was shot there that day, didn't hear anything in the background. A lot of times you hear smoke alarms going off. Maybe it was too late anyway. Maybe it was after that. But folks, really, when you can, please, please check your smoke detectors. Anybody in the fire department would say this. If Juan Barroso were here with us right now, he used to give them out as the chief fire inspector to people who can't afford them. And I'm sure there are some still in other locations where you can get them. Make sure those smoke detectors not only are present, but work, really, because if you think about this, that fire in Lyndhurst could have been significantly worse. Chief Haggerty said that it could have easily been 4 casualties in that fire when there was only one, and that one is even too many. And those were his words too. In the fire industry, there's no excuse for the loss of life, but when there are no fire detectors, it makes it that much difficult. So, just a reminder and a public service announcement from us here: if you don't have one, get one. If you can't afford one, go to your fire department, ask them for one. I'm sure somebody's going to have one somewhere, and if they don't, they should find them for you, because it's just nobody should ever lose their life because they didn't get out, because smoke alarms didn't go off. And when you see 3 lives taken so innocently here, these 3 people went to bed on Thursday night and Wednesday night, respectively, and didn't get up. It's just, it's horrible anytime, but especially this time of year. And there's just really no reason why anybody should live in a home where there are not smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors that are working each and every day. So, a tragedy indeed in Kearney and in Lyndhurst as well. Larry Hanlon is with us. I'm not sure if I greeted you already, Larry. I apologize. Debbie Garcia is also here with us as well. A completely and terribly sad day. Terribly sad day, indeed. And Bill Dow is also here with us. Billy, good to see you, buddy. Hope everything is going well for you and everybody else who is watching us today. All right, let's move on now to the inside of this week's edition of The Observer. And I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't know if other towns are going to follow suit. Maybe they will, but in Nutley, they are going to this new trash collection setup where every resident will be given 1 recycling bin and 1 trash bin. These things are humongous. You can see it in the corner of this picture. These things are big, and they're automated. So when the trucks come out, the arms come out, and they put the trash right into the truck. And I believe, I'm told, there's only 1 person on each truck instead of 3 or 4, however many there are on normal trucks. This whole process will start after January 1st in Nutley. And because this is being streamlined, and because I'm sure it will save on trash removal, they're able to give everybody 1 bin for recycling and 1 for trash as well. These things are so big that if anybody worries about, well, will I have enough room, just think about the garbage barrels that you have at your house, normal size ones. They're like 2.5 times as big as the ones that you would normally buy, just something if you went to like Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that. So I don't know how the reaction has been yet to this, but they're having these seminars in Town Hall in Nutley, and it seems like the reception has been good. And Carol Manley is here with us, and she says that they have them in South Jersey, and it's great. So you kind of think like this is a no-brainer in so many communities. Maybe one day we'll see them here in Kearney, and they are going to start on the 1st of January in the township of Nutley. So it seems to be pretty popular in other parts of the state. We'll see how it goes in Nutley. We will report back to you once we hear more, once the actual plan is put into place, beginning in January. This is a little late, but there was a terrible situation where a man was severely injured. He was riding a moped and he was hit by two people who were driving in Kearney, and the two of them have been arrested. Of course, when they hit the guy on the moped, they left, and the Hudson County prosecutor just arrested the two of them. And it's certainly good to see that they were brought to justice as well, because they left the scene without taking any responsibility, but now they will face justice. The town of Harrison, as is the case in most towns, with Kearney as well, had a special event recently where residents who were not sure how to fill out an anchor grant were able to do so. Now, I believe the deadline has passed, but here's the thing: if you had this is something that's open to everybody, whether you're a renter or if you are a homeowner. And if you were a homeowner, you could have gotten up to $1,400 back, and $450 if you're a renter. So, really good. It was really good that Harrison and Kearney and a few other communities, I think East Newark did this too. Mayor Dina Grillo and her state representatives were there, and they helped people fill out the paperwork. But there's no reason not to do this every year when you're going to get that absolute money back, and who couldn't use it at this time of year? So thank you to Harrison, East Newark, and Kearney, and the other towns that have done this. If, as I said, I think it's too late for this year, but make sure you do it next year when these things come out. Again, anchor grants. We have an honor roll this week, and Nutley Rakes. This is a great program in Nutley where they go out and collect leaves for senior citizens who otherwise couldn't do it. And Commissioner Joe Scarpelli, the former mayor of Nutley, now still a commissioner, has spearheaded this for the last 16 years. It's a really, really nice program. A lot of teenagers get involved from Nutley High School and things of that nature. So we wanted to bring you that picture as well. And this, of course, comes from Kearney's tree lighting. You know, it was very disappointing because I know how disappointed Linda DeIsa was and Mayor Doyle in Kearney that they had to curtail the tree lighting. They got rid of I shouldn't say got rid of, they canceled the festival because of the wind and the wind chill. It was brutally cold that day when they lit the tree last week, but still there was a session where Santa took pictures with everybody. Here you can see a parent with her two kids and Santa and Doyle laughing and having a great time there. And then, of course, that's the town council as well as the mayor with Santa, Mrs. Claus, and an elf. And Jordy Jean and T.J. Hernandez are both in that picture as well. Those two, of course, are Kearney police officers, two of the best you'll ever find in the business. And right here, this will be the last thing that we talk about today. The parking lot at 285 Kearney Avenue was paved, so if you park there, you had to get out of there on Thursday and into Friday, but it's beautiful. They did a phenomenal job, and great job there. I'm glad it's done. I know the mayor is very, very happy. In this picture here, you can see she's standing outside with some of the workers who were responsible for getting this done. So, don't forget, we also have sports. The end of the Red Bull season, they lost in the MLS Cup final. Jason has 3 sports, 2 more, including the one with the Red Bulls. And then, of course, let me just tell you about this real quick. Christmas in the Park in Lyndhurst is it's always been a phenomenal day. It's kind of like what you would have seen in Kearney as well. But it's a festival, and they have a lot of great things going on there. That is this Saturday from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at Town Hall Park. That's the one that's right adjacent to Town Hall outside the fire department. And Mayor Ginger Russo and the commissioners in Lyndhurst put a lot of effort into this. So if you don't have anything to do on the 14th or on the 15th, if it rains, God forbid, head on over. You'll have a good time. There's plenty to get to eat and things of that nature. The Christmas carols are playing and things of that nature. So give it a shot if you don't have anything to do on the 14th or the 15th, depending on the weather. Head on over to Lyndhurst. I don't think you will regret it at all. And then, of course, we have 2 pages of classifieds as well. Again, a very, very crappy week indeed. A very, very crappy week indeed. But please remember, folks, we need your help. We are trying to increase our sponsor, our feel on social media, but especially with our YouTube page, we have increased quite a bit lately. And we could really use your help. Go on over to our YouTube page if you can. It's www.youtube.com/theobservernj and simply subscribe. When you do that, you can be informed immediately whenever we are live and on the air, and that'll help us to get the word out to you. Like, for example, just before I go, none of this was in the newspaper. This terrible situation with the body that was pulled, the DWI checkpoint as well, and the canceled mammography session. So we get to do a lot of this live. So don't miss it. Subscribe, go over to our YouTube page, and be sure to do that at your earliest convenience. Before we sign off, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. We had a very big crowd today. Thank you so much. And Lisa has this here. Once you subscribe free to our YouTube channel, you will automatically get notified. Yes, that's the other thing too. No cost. No cost at all. So please do that. So thank you to everybody who's here. Carol, Mom, say hi to her, please. Everybody else, enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays. Let's face it, it can't get much worse than it has been the last couple of days. So hopefully better days are ahead. And we will be back a week from today, or if any other news breaks, until our next live edition. And especially if we know anything about the body that was pulled today, we will let you know the identity of who that person is. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.